You still believe your job security comes from being good at your work. The company stopped thinking that way 18 months ago. While you optimized your performance and built institutional knowledge, they built the architecture to function without you. The replacement is not coming. The replacement is operational. They are running both systems in parallel, the one where you are essential and the one where you are already gone. Every process you document, every procedure you standardize, every knowledge transfer meeting you attend is not securing your position. It is completing the conditions for your exit. The substitution happens in stages so gradual, you mistake each one for normal operations. You are teaching the system to forget you, while thinking you are proving your value. This is not about individual managers making personnel decisions. This is institutional muscle memory. Companies that survived the last decade learned to treat all positions as temporary, all knowledge as extractable, all people as components awaiting cheaper replacement. What follows are the mechanisms through which your company is systematically removing the conditions that made you necessary. Number 1, your expertise becomes documented process. The company asks you to write everything down. They frame this as knowledge sharing, succession planning, professional development for junior team members. You comply because it sounds responsible. You create the run books, the standard operating procedures, the decision trees that capture your judgment. You record the institutional knowledge that exists nowhere but in your memory. You build the comprehensive documentation of exactly how you do what you do. You do not realize you are writing the instruction manual for your own replacement. Once your expertise exists as documented process, your expertise is no longer yours. It belongs to the system. The company can now purchase that expertise at a lower rate by hiring someone who can follow instructions rather than someone who can generate solutions. Your 15 years of experience compresses into a training document that brings a new hire to functional adequacy in 6 weeks. The documentation request was never about resilience or team development. It was about converting your irreplaceable knowledge into replaceable process. The company now owns what used to make you valuable, and they own it in a format that does not require your salary. Number 2, the scope reduction that feels like relief. Your responsibilities start shrinking. Projects you used to lead are reassigned to other teams. Decisions you used to make are escalated to your manager. Meetings you used to run now happen without you. This feels like good news initially. You have been overwhelmed for months, maybe years. The reduced workload registers as the company finally recognizing your bandwidth constraints. You use the freed time to focus on your core work, to do what you do best, without the administrative drag. What you are experiencing is not workload management. It is deliberate scope reduction. The company is testing whether your functions still require someone at your level. Each responsibility they remove and successfully reassign is confirmation that piece of your role was not actually senior level work. They are decomposing your position into component tasks and farming those tasks to cheaper labor. The work still gets done, which proves to finance that your compensation level was not necessary for that output. You think you are being protected from burnout. They are calculating the minimum viable version of your role. Number 3, the parallel hire who shadows you. A new team member arrives. The stated reason is growth, expansion, increased demand. You are told to train them. They sit with you in meetings. They ask you to explain your decision-making process. They request access to your files, your templates, your client relationships. You treat this as mentorship. You are generous with your knowledge because you believe in developing talent. You introduce them to your network. You copy them on email so they understand the context. You walk them through the informal systems that never make it into official documentation. You are building their capability while assuming your role remains secure. The parallel hire is not there to supplement your capacity. They are there to absorb your function. Every piece of knowledge you transfer, every relationship you share, every process you explain, is removing one more reason the company needs you. The role they were hired for matches yours in every material way, except title and compensation. Once they reach functional competency, the company will have 2 people doing your job, you at your salary and them at market rate for someone with 18 months of experience. That equation resolves in one direction. Number 4, the tool implementation that eliminates judgment. The company announces a new software platform. The platform will streamline your work, reduce manual processes, improve consistency. You attend the training sessions. You learn the system. You migrate your workflows into the tool. The tool makes certain parts of your job faster, which you interpret as efficiency gains. What you miss is what the tool replaces. The software is not automating tasks. It is automating judgment. The decisions you used to make based on context and experience are now embedded in the tool's logic. The tool does not need your 15 years of institutional knowledge to determine the right approach. It has decision trees that produce adequate outcomes in most cases. The remaining cases, where judgment still matters, are small enough that they can be escalated to your manager. Your role is converting from decision maker to tool operator. The company is not implementing this technology to make you more productive. They are implementing it to make you replaceable. Once your judgment lives in the software, they can hire someone who knows how to click the right buttons, not someone who knows which answer is correct. Number 5, the offshore team that starts with support. The company establishes an offshore team to handle routine work. You are told this will free you from low-value tasks, so you can focus on strategic work. The offshore team starts with simple support tickets, basic data entry, standard reports. You provide them with instructions. You review their work. You answer their questions. The arrangement feels reasonable because you retain oversight and complex decision-making. The offshore team's capabilities expand. They start handling tasks that were previously your responsibility. The company asks you to train them on more complex processes. You create documentation, hold training sessions, establish quality checks. The offshore team's error rate drops. Their speed increases. The work you review requires fewer corrections. This appears to validate the model. What is actually happening is the company is testing the upper boundary of what can be performed at offshore labor rates. Every task they successfully migrate offshore is one less task justifying your local salary. The strategic work you were promised never materializes, because the strategic work was always a smaller percentage of your role than you believed. The company is not optimizing your productivity. They are determining how much of your function can be purchased for 1/3 the cost. Number 6, the emergency that proves you are not essential. Something breaks. A major client issue, a system failure, a deadline crisis. You are not available. You are on vacation or out sick or in transit. The company cannot wait for your return. They solve the problem without you. The client is satisfied. The system is restored. The deadline is met. You return to find the crisis resolved. This should feel like good news. Your team is capable. The company is resilient. Operations continued in your absence. What you witnessed is the company discovering they can function without you. The emergency forced them to activate contingency systems. Those systems worked. The lesson they learned is not that they should appreciate you more. The lesson they learned is that you are not mission critical. The next time something similar happens, they will not treat it as an emergency. They will treat it as normal operations. Your absence used to create urgency. Now it creates process. The company just completed a successful test of operations without you, and tests exist to confirm what happens when you make the change permanent. Number 7, the responsibility freeze during restructuring. The company announces a reorganization. Your department is being restructured to align with strategic priorities. During the transition period, all role changes are frozen. No promotions, no new projects, no expanded responsibilities. You are told to maintain current operations while leadership finalizes the new structure. This feels like a pause. You assume normal career progression will resume once the reorganization completes. The freeze is not temporary planning logistics. The freeze is the company stopping all investment in your development while they determine whether your role exists in the future structure. They are not postponing your advancement. They are preventing you from building any additional claims to permanence. Every month the freeze continues, you fall further behind the market rate for your skills, while colleagues at other companies advance. The company is not protecting you during uncertainty. They are preventing you from accumulating any new reasons to keep you. When the reorganization finally concludes, your role will be redesigned around what can be hired externally at current market rates, which is always lower than what it costs to retain you at your current compensation with your expected progression. Number 8, what you do with this information. You document everything you do, but you document it for yourself first. You keep your own record of your contributions, your decisions, your outcomes. You watch the patterns, when your scope shrinks, when new hires appear, when tools replace judgment, when offshore teams expand. You treat these as data. not paranoia. You do not wait for the company to tell you the truth about your security. You read the institutional signals that precede the conversation. You stop believing that doing excellent work creates job security. You understand that doing excellent work makes you easier to replace once the work is documented, the process is standardized, and the tool is implemented. You begin planning your exit before the company plans it for you. You do this without drama, without confrontation, without announcing your awareness. You simply stop confusing your current employment with permanent employment. The company is running two systems in parallel, the one where you work here and the one where you do not. You run the same two systems, one where you stay and one where you have already left. The company will choose their moment. You choose yours first.